It is only March, and we have seen it too many times. Parents killing or harming their own children. In January, Xavier Thomas was arrested for stabbing his 6-year-old son more than 20 times. A month later, there was the death of little Ronderique Anderson. Police say his father slammed him into a wall or dresser. And then there is the Julie Schenecker case, a Tampa mom who was behind bars for shooting and killing both her children. There is one woman who knows this pain firsthand. She is the surviving parent. And tonight, in her first sit-down interview, Para Perez shares her story of survival and strength. Para Perez has cried a lot in the past 6 years.
You know, my children were taken away so horribly.
Not a moment goes by that she doesn't think of her Lauren and Sean, only 13 and 12 when they were shot and killed by their own father. And now, more than half a decade later, her devastating story seems to be playing out again in another case.
I'll tell you what I would do. The first thing I would do is I would give him a hug and hold him and say, I completely understand.
She wants to reach out to Colonel Parker Schenecker. His wife, Julie, was arrested for shooting their children.
Want to tell us what happened, Julie?
16-year-old Calix and 13-year-old Bo were found in their home. Colonel Schenecker was overseas when he received the horrifying news. He came home to bury his children.
Please don't forget how they lived.
Patty shares the colonel's pain, but when her kids were laid to rest, she was in a coma.
Not many people survive getting shot close range from a .38. You're right. It was front. I was facing him about 12 inches away from me.
Patty questioned why she survived that night in December of 2004. Doctor said a bullet went through her brain. And while it took years to learn how to do virtually everything from talking,
I want people to know that they're not alone.
To even holding her hands together, every moment she has lived with the pain of that night.
Serena, one of the things that God has never blessed me with is He has never taken my memory away.
Patty shares she suffered 15 years of abuse and finally decided to leave her husband. She moved out of their spacious home in Lutz into a townhome, but he found her.
It was a total ambush of that night. Did I see this coming? No. I never suspected that he would ever shoot me, and much less his kids. Perhaps me, I would have believed that, but his kids, never.
And that's what she wants to share with Colonel Schenecker. There are plenty of questions, but never any answers.
My belief, Serena, was that as a parent, that every parent would feel such love. How could you feel such anger? I mean, how could you? I don't even know what it is that you would feel. That's the whole point. I don't understand it.
Patty is still in grief counseling, but she is a survivor. There was one thing her husband could never take away, her faith.
God has always been there for me. Always has been there for me. He has never left me. I've never been alone, and I'm still not alone.
In the last few years, Patty says she's received the greatest gift, a chance to be a mother again. She remarried and has a 4-year-old little girl and a 2-year-old boy.
They're both a wonderful gift from God. So they're not a replacement. They're just an addition to my future and more future memories for me.
She hopes the colonel will see her story of survival and strength. She knows it won't be easy, and he will never forget his children.
There is hope. They just have to look, and they have to think 1 minute at a time.
Patty's husband, Robert O'Mara, killed himself that night. Patty, in the meantime, has devoted herself to domestic violence awareness.